Obama and the Japanese leader today met in Hawaii for a memorial dealing with the Pacific War and World War II, and namely the Japanese sneak attack on Pearl Harbor on December 7th, 1941, the day that will live in infamy. And if you heard his speech or saw his speech like I did, it was very eloquent, and basically all of it was true. But of course, Obama didn't write it. His top speechwriters wrote it. And it reminded me of all the times he talks about hope and racial unity and stopping war and peace, and what a fraud it is, how working with Google, Facebook, and others, and the CIA, headed up by Hillary and the State Department 6 years ago, they launched the Arab Spring to put radical jihadists in control of North Africa, Eastern North Africa, Northwestern Africa, and even into Central Africa. How they've turned loose, basically settlers, Sunni Wahhabist settlers out of Qatar, Saudi Arabia, Pakistan, areas, of course, that border Russia, all the different stands, the Chechens, you name it, to go in and invade Syria in the last 5 years and kill hundreds of thousands of people and make their own kids suicide bomb. And then our media talks about the white helmets of Aleppo and how good they are and how wonderful the rebels are. What a load of garbage. So you hear Obama talking about peace and reading off a teleprompter some of the most eloquent words ever written. It's sickening. I plan tomorrow on the radio to play his remarks. They're like 10 minutes long. And then just stop and start it and show what his real policies are. Obama is this arrogant, entitled baby. He reminds me of Kaepernick. Or he reminds me of Hollywood stars that don't appreciate all they've got. He's been given everything. He's been put in these positions of power to go to Africa and tell them they can't have cars or air conditioning when he lives like a king, to tell us we didn't build our businesses, to spend his time saying America's racist and evil and bad when it's America leading the world in trying to create unity and equality. But so many times he'll actually say things that are true when he's reading off a teleprompter and a speechwriter wrote it, but then that covers for all his surrogates that are running around spewing the garbage we see at universities all over the country, the problem with being whiteness and eradicating whiteness and how white genocide's needed. And this is so mainstream now. I was reading today where even Reuters was trying to come to grips with and defend this professor that's calling for exterminating all white people, and he's white, Professor Mayer. And this is what Obama, the community organizer, and all these people are pushing. And it's weaponized divide and conquer, not to empower black people in the name of some type of multiculturalism. All this creates this incredible division. He is such a snot-nosed bastard. And of course, it's not fair to call him a bastard. There's a lot of great men that are bastards. But his father wasn't around. His real father, Frank Marshall Davis. And you just look at how he runs this country. He's had full control. And now he's trying to hand Trump a disaster, a time bomb. Whether you love Israel or hate Israel or neutral, just one more country, some good people, some bad people, some good politicians, some bad. Waiting till the last 2 minutes of his presidency, the last 20-something days is the equivalent of the last few minutes in 8 years. And he's waiting the last few minutes as the clock ticks down to then come out and basically say Israel can't have settlements. And the next vote is recognizing Palestine, and Palestine doesn't recognize Israel. So that's a unanimous vote in the UN. There may not even be an abstention this time. It's an actual unanimous vote to overthrow Israel, which is a declaration of war. And again, whether you love Israel, hate Israel, or neutral, I try not to be drawn into it. I'm like Switzerland. Doing this will get all the Arab nations to build up. It'll get an intifada or a rebellion going against Israel that'll only push the whole world towards war. And Israel has nuclear weapons and isn't going anywhere. And people don't intellectually respond to me that disagree with facts. They just go, you're a Zionist agent. Okay, so Obama's put in power by the globalists, the Rockefellers, the Rothschilds, the George Soroses. The WikiLeaks come out and George Soros wants to overthrow Israel. So does that mean George Soros is good? The UN involved in all its crimes, all its colonization, all its rape and murder, all over the planet. But nobody talks about them because they're the UN and they're after the evil Israel. Meanwhile, the Israel lobby is funding anti-gun movements in this country and pushing tyranny as well. I don't like a lot of stuff Israel's doing. Never been there. But the whole point is that the people that hate Israel are a bunch of lying scum with suicide bomber kids. And you got George Soros against Israel and the UN. And I'm like, man, this is not cool. There are a lot of good people in Israel. And this isn't colonialism. The Jews have claims there. They founded and settled that area. Does it mean all the people that moved to Israel are really, even 10% connected to the real Jews that live there? No. But there are a lot of Sephardic Jews whose ancestors did live there, and you could dig up their bones and test their DNA. It's the same people. And all I'm saying is World War III worth the hatred of the Jews some of you have? The vast majority of Pakistanis have been questionnaire. And they say they're for a nuclear war with Israel, even if it kills 100 million Muslims, because they want to take Israel out. I mean, I've never been to Russia. I don't have any Slavic blood in me, but I've studied the issues. I don't want to have a war with Russia that Soros is pushing too, because he's a crazy person and wants order out of chaos and wants to crash every major currency out there and just more billions for himself. Because I don't want to have war with Russia doesn't mean I'm a Russian agent. Same thing with Israel. Just I don't want to have wars over Israel doesn't mean I'm for everything Israel does. But if you put the Arabs in charge, the quote Palestinians, they'll start killing each other in seconds. They do it everywhere else they live. I mean, I'm sorry, folks. People try to hold Israel up as the moral depravity of the planet, and I just don't see it compared to Saudi Arabia and communist China that are so in our business. I talk about how Saudi Arabia is buying up Hollywood and how China is buying up Hollywood. I told people that 5 years ago because it was in the trade papers then. They were already buying controlling interest in several big, largest production houses, studios. Now they're buying all 6. And then they go, oh, what are you, anti-Chinese? The communist Chinese are the ones oppressing their people like no one else. The biggest victims of mass murder in history are Chinese at the hands of communist Chinese. And what's David Rockefeller doing endorsing communist China or other globalists going back in history? It's sick. You can Google right now, David Rockefeller endorses Mao Zedong, 1976, the New York Times, saying we need this same system here. It's another rich guy, ultra rich, above the law, tax exempt, calling for it because they're authoritarians. And let me tell you, there's a triple cross going on. The globalists know there's 1,400,000,000 Arabs and growing. They've made it, or Muslims. They know they've made a decision to side with them against the godless, mindless, liberal West that has no values and will roll over to any bully. That's why the left tries to bully us on speech. That's why the left allies itself with every anti-Western institution, is because they want conquest and control, and they themselves have been bullied into submission on language, on borders, on culture, on all of it. And I am historically informed. I am historically involved. I just want peace and prosperity and free market systems where we vote with our decisions and our feet and our mouths, just like people do with web ratings for restaurants. That's caused cuisine to go way up. True ratings of housing has made quality go up. True human intelligence interfacing with computers and talking about what's quality and what isn't has created amazing choice. And that's only having a fraction of our free market left. And then I watch some piece of crap like Kaepernick or Obama or Michael Moore or Bloomberg bitching about inequality in America, or Hillary, just all these people bitching about how we're the worst place on earth. And here's the deal. They're not loyal opposition. They're not complaining about America because they want to make it better. They're not complaining about the problems in America because they really care about this country and want to make it great again. They're doing it because they are having a pissing contest with it and were brought up to hate it and brought up by globalist propaganda that has been committed to killing the American system because the globalists can't compete with the American system and have been honest about that. They want a damn monopoly. And I'm not going to roll over and watch them get one. What about you? Let me show you some of these articles. Voters wanted to make America great again. Trump slams Obama's third term remarks. Don Salazar. via Twitter. I mean, he said he would have won again. President Obama campaigned hard and personally in the very important swing states and lost. The voters wanted to make America great again. Absolutely. This is the biggest sore loser crap I've ever seen. Running around complaining that he would have won and that Hillary didn't connect with voters. Obama, you didn't go into the black areas hardly at all. Black unemployment doubled. You did the same things Hillary did. You were just the third term of the Clintons, and now Hillary, wanted a fifth. You were the third and fourth. And everybody saw through that, and your legacy's done. So go ahead and try to start wars. Go ahead and try to flood the borders. Go ahead and try to just do whatever other crimes you want. We're going to hold the Republican establishment and the Democratic establishment's feet to the fire. We're going to use Donald Trump as a battering ram to force real change. And we're going to keep identifying that it's the globalists and the offshore multinationals that have set up this system where they pick winners and losers, and that they're the real threat to human development. So you can try your race baiting all day desperately. It's in the WikiLeaks. You can try all this crap. It's not going to work. And that is all they're doing, is hitting the absolute panic button. And again, I get back to Abe and Obama affirm alliance and ceremony in Pearl Harbor, where he gets the reflected glory of all these amazing 90-something-year-old World War II survivors, and they get the reflected glory of talking to their families. Yeah, but remember, it's the collaborator globalist media that's conquered America through fraud, that uses all our old ceremonies, all our old trappings. Obama can come out and wish you a Merry Christmas, but none of his surrogates do it. But then he leaves it to give you that little bit of Americana, so he can still be seen as safe and good while his whole agenda takes place. And that's the difference. Trump leads from the front and says the most radical stuff himself. He doesn't just hold back and then let surrogates do it. And he communicates directly with the people via Twitter and via speeches. He's overturning their whole centralized system by the very actions he takes. He's fundamentally a revolutionary against the globalist tyranny, and so is InfoWars. That's why Obama signed this weekend, while we were all busy at Christmas, the legislation putting the CIA and other intelligence agencies, as well as the State Department, over the Board of Governors of the FCC, and announces under wartime powers jurisdiction over all communications. This is soft martial law being put in place, and I hope Trump doesn't go, oh, look, I'll use this for my own self to counter stuff. It needs to be terminated via a stroke of the pen with executive order once Trump gets into office, because it's totally unconstitutional and it's an affront to this country and the rest of the world. But again, it's a sign of how desperate the globalists are. Now, Lord willing, I'll be back on the radio tomorrow at 11 a.m. Central. There is an information war happening. We need your help to take action. We need your help to spread our articles and videos even more. Look at the effect it's already had, because we have the truth. And when you carry that ball, nothing on earth can stop you. I'm Alex Jones signing off for Infowars.com. Now, please take action. Post this video once it's archived on your Facebook wall. Spread it, like it, share it, copy it to YouTube, other platforms. Know that everything you do is changing the world, and Infowars is one of the best weapons in the fight for truth. Again, I want to wish you all a wonderful and blessed and powerful new year in 2017. Look, I'm not going to sit here and say, see, I told you so, that communist Chinese-style net censorship was coming to the web, because it's already here. It's being announced. The way you keep the internet open and free is you get involved more than ever. Go to Infowars.com/app. A new battleship in the fight. Infowars Live, available right now. We're looking for a crew to man it. You going to sit down and play games and be a trendy? Or are you going to be part of history? Don't sit by and let the internet and free speech be stolen from you. Take action.